All right. Gulper fishing on Hebgen Lake. Welcome everyone to the new Fly Fisher. I'm your host, Phil Rowley. On today's show, we're coming to you from the Firehole Ranch located on the shores of Hebgen Lake, just a short drive west of West Yellowstone, Montana. We're going to be targeting the lake's brown and rainbow trout and hopefully the dry fly or gulper fishing Hebgen is famous for. It's going to be a great show. I'm excited to be here and fish Hebgen. I hope you are too, so stick around.
Let him go back to live another day.
And away he goes. Great fish. Wow.
Oh, baby. Look at that fish.
Stop, wiggle, on the way down.
The new Fly Fisher has been made possible thanks to West Yellowstone Chamber of Commerce, the state of Montana, Islander Precision Reels, and Orvis Sporting Traditions.
Today, the new Fly Fisher crew is joining you from West Yellowstone, Montana. West Yellowstone, as its name suggests, is located at the western entrance to Yellowstone National Park. In addition to a bounty of fly shops to occupy the Fly Fisher, West Yellowstone offers numerous accommodation options, shopping, museums, restaurants, coffee shops, along with other attractions. A visit to the West Yellowstone Tourism Office is recommended to get the most out of your stay. One of the more unique attractions is the Grizzly and Wolf Discovery Center. This open-concept facility educates visitors in a close-up, intimate manner on two of the region's most famous residents, grizzly bears and wolves. The West Yellowstone region is surrounded with stunning scenic beauty. Don't forget your camera when you come to West Yellowstone. West Yellowstone is one of the most popular fly fishing destinations in North America. Although perhaps best known for its rivers and streams, the West Yellowstone region is home to some fantastic lake fishing. Lakes such as Hebgen, Quake, and Yellowstone, for example, offer some outstanding dry fly opportunities, arguably the best in the world. For our Hebgen Lake adventure, the new Fly Fisher is based out of the Firehole Ranch. Located on the southern shore of Hebgen Lake, the Firehole Ranch was originally founded as a working cattle ranch in the late 1800s. In 1944, the Firehole Ranch was transformed into a dude ranch by Clarence Clicks and Leela Wright. The ranch has since evolved into a premier Orvis-endorsed fly fishing operation, garnering worldwide acclaim. In addition to offering access to the area's blue ribbon trout streams and Hebgen Lake, the Firehole Ranch provides guests with luxurious accommodation and dining options, along with a host of other outdoor activities, including hiking, mountain biking, and horseback riding. Ranch staff are also happy to provide information and directions should you choose to visit some of the area's other scenic attractions. Hebgen Lake provides arguably the best stillwater dry fly fishing in North America. Its resident brown and rainbow trout are dedicated surface feeders dining on a rich bounty of adult chironomids, mayflies, damselflies, and terrestrials. Hebgen's Calabatus hatch is legendary. Beginning in mid-June, multi-brooded Calabatus emerge through mid-September. August offers the most consistent surface activity for emerging nymphs, duns, and spinners. Remember to reduce fly size as the season progresses. During peak emergences, Hebgen's trout feed rhythmically at the surface in staggering numbers. Their gulping to spinners and duns can be heard from a distance. Our guide today is Josh Duchateau. Josh has been with the Firehole Ranch for over 6 seasons. Josh, like me, shares a particular love for stillwater fly fishing. I'm looking forward to Josh introducing me to Hebgen Lake and its world-famous dry fly fishing.
What makes Hebgen Lake so special is the opportunity to take trout on a dry fly. On Hebgen Lake we use 5 and 6 weight rods. We use the heavier rods to have the ability to cast longer at long-range targets.
We're just rowing out into position here. Josh is taking us out. You probably noticed we're in a drift boat, and for some of you may think, wow, that's more a boat suited for rivers, but for chasing gulpers like this boat is ideal. It's stable, it's quiet, it draws very little water so we can get in the shallows, because these fish are often very shallow, very maneuverable. So we can chase rising fish or pods of rising fish very easily. So a drift boat is an excellent tool when you're hunting fish with dry flies in still waters.
A few of my favorite Hebgen Lake flies. I typically start out in the morning with nymph setup, and your standard pheasant tail always does the trick. And I've basically just tweaked that a little bit, added some partridge and some gray dubbing, and made more of a calabatus nymph. And when that it starts to wane and they start to eat on the surface more, I'm going to go to a dun or a spinner pattern, and this should carry me through until the wind kicks up. If you're lucky enough and you get to fish flat water in the afternoon, you can fish a damsel adult. And this is very, very fun. I've just recently come on to this, and it's producing really, really well.
Calabatus adults, both spinners and duns, are a definite must when fishing Hebgen Lake. Craig Matthews' Sparkle Dun is an excellent imitation. Let's watch Robert McCormick from Blue Ribbon Flies as he ties a Sparkle Dun.
All right, we are tying a Calabatus Sparkle Dun. These we tie in sizes 14 through 18. And we'll start here. I'm using a size 14 standard dry fly hook and an 8/0 tan thread. We're just going to start our thread here near the eye, wrap back and make just a thread base, and come back forward, and we're going to have the hair right around the 1/3 point of the hook, and we're using a Sparkle Dun type deer hair. This has very short tips, so it's going to flare real easy and have decent buoyancy to it. Okay, so we'll stack our hair. And you always cut a little bit more than you think you need, because you'll have some junk in there. And generally you're going to measure it about the length of the hook shank. We're going to lay that on top, and we're going to make 2 loose wraps over it and then just pull down. Then in that same spot, I'm going to take about 5 turns, come up, clip it as tight as you can, then come right around and wrap on that thread, or that hair rather. That's just going to help secure it. Then look underneath. You usually have a couple fibers that'll spin around. We'll get rid of those. And we're just going to push back on this hair and make some turns in front of it and just build a kind of a thread dam up front to help hold it up in place. And we will add some dubbing in front also to help keep that there. Okay. Now we'll bring our thread behind. Get rid of that one little piece there. Now we're going to add on a piece of brown, mayfly brown Zelon. I'm just going to draw it in so that the butt end of this meets up with the butt end of that deer hair. and that gives us a nice smooth ramp for our dubbing to go up. So we'll just wrap back, and I keep that somewhat tight. Now we're going to just put our dubbing on, and we use a superfine synthetic dubbing, and this is just calabatus color, kind of a grayish tan. And as we get later in the season, the smaller ones will be kind of a pale tan, the 18s, but for the 14s and 16s, this is kind of a better color. And we'll just add that on the thread. And we don't really like to use a wax here. We just don't find it necessary for this, so we like to just dub it straight. I like to take my finger and just slide that right up to where I'm going to start. Make sure our deer hair's pulled a little bit forward and out of the way. And then we'll just start wrapping. And we'll bring this forward and try and build a little bit of a tapered body on the way up. Make sure you're grabbing some of that Zeolon in there. And just a little more here. Now we're just going to pull that hair back. Get that dubbing right in front. And then we're just going to finish that off. Flip your thread. There you go. And there's a calabatus sparkle dub.
Yeah! All right. Well done. So Josh, you were seeing calabatus, but you switched up to a damsel, seeing those. So they're also an important food for these gulpers as well?
Big fly, big fish.
Yeah. And you were saying that the browns have a definite affinity to the bigger lunch items. They'll come in and eat the damsels and maybe ignore the calabatus.
This battle isn't over yet.
No. Well done. It's challenging because the waters were very shallow. We're probably less than 5 feet, and the fish, when the water's calm, are random in their nature. They cruise all over the place, so it's tough to predict where they're going to go next. But Josh saw this fish rise and put the fly in the area, and I'll get my out of the way. He came up and slurped it so gently.
Beautiful.
He ain't done yet. Just get mine out of the way here. Reel in. A lot of energy.
They're just bulldozers. They don't.
So you've got browns and rainbows in here. Calabatus, damsels, chironomids. It's a Stillwater heaven. And they're still going, eh? Don't worry, we'll come back to that one.
Can't land this fast enough. This will test the patience.
But the rewards are unbelievable.
5X? I got him on 4X, so good, but that's a heavy fish, so.
That's a nice fish. All right.
Gulper fishing on Hebgen Lake.
There he goes. Well done. So Josh, we've had dialogues. You and I both subscribe when fishing dry flies on lakes to the 10-second rule. Maybe you can explain to our viewers what that means exactly.
Well, the 10-second rule is when there's not many risers and you are still fishing dry flies, you can just cast it to a likely area, leave it for 10 seconds, and then move on and keep prospecting.
So just shotgunning the water with a dry fly. Cast it out, sits 10 seconds, no response, pick it up, target another area, 10 seconds, and just systematically cover water.
Exactly.
Cool, let's keep doing that and hopefully tag into a brown or a rainbow here.
Reading and interpreting the rise is one of the keys when targeting surface feeding trout. Rise forms vary. Some indicate feeding to adults and terrestrials, while others are a sign of emerger feeding. The slow, deliberate head-tail rise is common to surface feeding trout. Look for the delicate nose poke and tail sweep within the rise form. The telltale bubble in the middle of the rise, caused by the fish expelling air as it took the natural, is a sure sign of surface feeding. Use the nose poke and tail sweep to gauge both feeding direction and speed of the fish.
So we're out here, we have ideal conditions, the sun's out, some cloud cover, the trout are going to feel comfortable feeding in here. Josh, we're looking for rises. You've mentioned about when you see a rise, looking for the open end of the rise to mark trout's direction. What do you mean by that?
It's hard to predict what direction they're moving in the lakes like this, and you can't always see the fish itself. And so you need to look at the rise form and judge the direction by the open end or the heavier wave that where it's pushing water. This will also tell you the speed of the fish. If it's kind of a little splashy and fast, you should probably lead it by 8-10 feet. If it's calm and subtle, you should maybe only lead it by 3-4 feet.
Well, that's really critical because that's one of the big mysteries, is knowing where to throw the fly after you've seen the rise. So that's a big help. I think I see some in there too, so we're just keeping our eye out. So Josh, I guess this dry fly gulper game, patience is a virtue, don't chase fish?
Exactly. I typically like to corner fish, meaning I like fish that are working a weed bed or a shore, some type of structure that I know it's going to frequent. They always have little spots, little posts that fish will check into. If you're out in the open and you chase a rise, you have no idea where they're going to be in the next 3 seconds even. So patience is a virtue. Get to structure, let them come to you.
Okay, well that's where we're going now. We've seen some rises up here, we're going to go corner them.
When casting to rising fish, use controlled, accurate casts. Once the fly lands, gently and carefully remove any slack. If a fish rises to your fly, avoid striking too quickly. Give the trout time to take the fly. Count to 2 or utter the phrase, "God save the Queen," before lifting the rod to drive the hook home.
Fish on, he took it. I was hardly even looking. I was looking away and I heard this gloosh.
The gulp.
My foam ant, yes, I got the gulp, the Hebgen gulp. Now we're very shallow here, so I'm gonna try and keep him from burying himself into the weeds. That's one of the risks. We had a small Calabatus nymph as a dropper and we took it off because we kept hanging up. We're probably in less than 4 feet of water. Oh, it's a nice looking brown. Nice looking brown, and we just heard this gloof as I turned back and my fly disappeared. So you gotta love the ones that self-set. And as soon as I can get them under control here, I'm gonna gather all this loose line because your feet are not your friend when you're fighting a fish. fly line, I swear, has microscopic legs at times that seem to run in and under everything. I'm just gathering this up, and looks like he might be, he showed me his face. Might get lucky. He might tire quicker, but I always get suspicious. They always seem to have one last gasp. There he is, he's right below us here.
Always lose the fish off the set or right at the net.
Yeah. And that was
You gotta
perfect.
be
Oh, this
very
is a gorgeous brown. Gorgeous brown trout. And again, just following Josh's recommendations about trying to read the rise, look for the open end. Oh, this is a nice fat brown. And there we go. Phil 1, Hebden nothing. Very fat. Nice little female. I think it's a female.
Yep, it's a female.
Yeah, she's fat. Take that barbless fly out. There we go. Thank you, Josh. Wow, wet my hands so I don't damage the fish. And that is Stillwater dry fly fishing. Gulpers on Hebden. What a magnificent fish. Look at that. Fat, healthy, in here, gulping. What this lake is famous for. Boy, to take a fish on a dry fly in a lake is pretty special. Most think it's a nymph or streamer game. But places like Hebden here in Montana are so special because you can do this. What a gorgeous fish.
Well done, Phil.
I think she wants to go. Woo! Thank you, my friend.
There we go.
Well done. Let's go get another.
Another. One good turn.
Deserves
another.
another. Well, my Hebgen experience has come to an end. The wind is up, it's late in the day, they're not rising nearly as much. Josh, thanks again for showing me your lake. Thanks to Mark and Kim at the Firehole Ranch and West Yellowstone, Montana. Come visit this place for yourself. For more information on this show and others in our series, please visit us on the web at thenewflyfisher.com. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Hi, I'm Tom Rosenbauer. Do you want to learn more about this crazy and exciting world of fly fishing? Watch the other videos in this series and subscribe to the channel.
The New Fly Fisher has been made possible thanks to West Yellowstone Chamber of Commerce, the state of Montana, Islander Precision Reels, and Orvis Sporting Traditions.